This is video number 5 in our composition task. In this video we're just going to discuss a little bit about the articulations and dynamic signs. You need to complete the composition by adding articulation dynamic markings before printing. You also need to make sure to switch on the transposing score, which will affect the horn part because that's my only transposing instrument. So here's the finished product. Let's have a look at it in the real score. So I'll just hit this transposing score button. It's under the home tab, and you'll see what happens. It sort of flips around this French horn part. So instead of being an F major, it becomes C major, and it moves all the notes up to that correct position, which is where they would be written in order for them to sound like these notes. Doesn't adjust the sound, by the way. There's those first two notes. If I put on transposing score, they still sound the same. They're just written differently so that the horn player can read them properly. Notice, of course, I've put in these slur markings. Don't forget, a slur is not one of these markings. This marking down here is a tie. A slur is added by selecting a note and then hitting the letter S on your keyboard, and it will create a slur. You can also extend a slur by you can also extend a slur by using the space bar, which will just extend it a note at a time. Okay. All right. What else? I've put in some accents, which you can find here on the keypad, some staccato signs at the end here, once again on the keypad, and tenuto marking. Notice a lot of the more interesting signs I've put in my melodic part. I've tried to keep my other parts fairly simple. This is an interesting sign here. It's a down bow on the cello. It's found here in the Articulations tab on the keypad, and there it is there, down bow. So it tells the cello to play a down bow on this note and this note, just to make it clear what their bowing pattern should be. If you're not really sure about string bowing patterns, then just don't worry about adding those. I've put in all my dynamic signs. One thing about dynamic signs, when you add them, you can go here to text and expression text. Now, I could just type in MP there like that, but as you can see, that MP symbol looks different to my other MP because it's not in bold. Right? It's meant to be in bold. Okay, so the one little trick with it is when you put in a dynamic sign like that, just hold down the command key and then type in the letters that you want, and it will put in the correct font, which is a bold sort of font. Okay. Don't forget the shortcut for one of these. It's called a hairpin. So if you want to add a hairpin, the best thing to do is actually select the number of bars that you want to add the hairpin to. Letter H for hairpin, and it will add it for you. Okay. The other thing you can do as well is hold down Shift H, and that will put in a reverse hairpin or a decrescendo. And that's pretty much all the markings I've got. So that would be my finished product. Don't forget, very important, home tab, transposing score. It must be in transposing score when you print it out. Do not print a non-transpose score like this. It's just wrong. Okay, great. And that's your finished product.